Awesome. Okay. All right, guys. So I'm going to do a training here right now, and it's going to be a little bit organic. Okay. So I'm open to you guys unmuting yourselves and asking questions. It's been in my heart to do this. It's been in my soul to do this, because one of the things that I try to do as much as I can is I try to put myself in the eyes of a brand new agent, right? What was it like for Tony when he was a brand new agent? But I can't do it I can't put myself in the mindset of where I was when I was a brand new agent, because when I was a brand new agent, a lot of the resources and tools that are available today, they were not available back then. Social media wasn't a thing back then. Electronic applications wasn't a thing back then. Recruiting wasn't a thing back then. So I try to put myself in the mindset of a new recruit today, 2021. And how would I talk to a rookie Tony Martinez in 2021 as to how he could generate money in this business? Because let's be honest, that's the overall goal, right? We want to make money. We want to help families. That's our passion. That's what our heart wants. But our mind understands that we need to generate income along the way. Otherwise, we can't survive and protect and provide for our own families, right? And so I came from companies back in the day. I came from companies like World Financial Group, and I'm not throwing jabs at them. So please don't take it that way. But I am a very unfiltered, direct type of a person. Okay. For years, I was with WFG for about 2.5 years. For years, I tried to figure out why were they training so heavily on recruiting. But then when they recruited the people, they didn't do enough training on how to teach them how to write business. All they trained them on is how to do what? Anybody want to unmute themselves? Give me an answer.
How to recruit.
How to recruit again, and how to recruit again. And all they ended up doing, in my opinion, was training a bunch of people how to recruit. And I try to figure out for the life of me, like, I don't understand why people are training that way. Why aren't we training these guys how to write business? And then one day, it dawned on me. It just hit me. And I said, the messenger who's delivering the message of recruiting is profiting from the recruit, because there's an enrollment fee. You know, last quarter, WFG put a posting on, so put an announcement, right? WFG growing like crazy. In the last quarter during the pandemic, they recruited 225,000 licensed agents. We're growing. And so I did the math to that, right? 225,000 agents at $100 an enrollment is $22.5 million of income from the messenger of recruit. Though, because they delivered that message, they generated $22 million worth of non-charge backable income. Now, the numbers that I really wanted to see was, okay, how many of those recruits converted into licensed agents? And how many of those licensed agents converted into actually writing agents? How many of them actually used that license? And how many writing agents generated at least a $50,000 income? Because that's what I'm interested in, right? And so as a field agent, I have to understand that there are things that I need to do to generate income. And recruiting to me is and isn't one of them. So I'm going to talk to you today. Take out your notepad, please. I'm going to talk to you today about what are the techniques that I use so that the end result equals money in the bank account. And I'm going to talk about all of these strategies, because when I wake up every day from from about 8:30 in the morning until 8 o'clock at night, I call those the golden hours. And the only thing I should be doing between 8 in the morning until 8 p.m. at night is anything that has to do with this list of things that I'm going to talk about today. And here's what's not on the list: underwriting, application submission, communicating with case managers. It's not in there. Emails, it's not in there. It's not in there. Anybody who knows me knows that if you want to get a hold of me, the fastest way, you text message me, because if you send me an email, it might be a day or two before I get to that email, because I look at email as a distraction. It's a distraction to me. Now you might be saying, well, wait a minute, I'm not going to answer underwriting. I'm not going to answer the case managers. Look, you can answer to them at 9 o'clock at night, at 10 o'clock at night. You can answer to them at 6 in the morning, at 7 in the morning. But from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. is your golden opportunity. It's what's called golden hours, okay, to capitalize and generate a client that generates income. or generate a recruit that generates an override that generates income. So let's talk about that. What do I do? What are the things that I do in order to gain clients? Number one, the most important meeting to me. If there's a meeting I want you to master. Can anybody take a guess which meeting it is? What do you think is the most important meeting that I run?
In homes?
Say it again.
In homes.
In-home meetings? No, that's not what I'm looking for. It can be in-home. It could be virtual. By the way, guys, just so you guys know, right now I'm running 99% virtual business. 99% virtual. Final expense and everything. It's my fact-finding meeting. If you look at the list of meetings that we run, your first initial meeting, okay, you might know it as an FNA, a financial needs analysis. It's also known as a fact-finding meeting. It's my initial meeting. I'm just fact-finding, learning, gathering the data. My second meeting is my closing. This is where I'm coming in with illustrations. I'm coming in with solutions. My next meeting after that is a deliveries where I'm delivering the policies, right? And then my next meeting after that with the client would be an annual review, which an annual review is nothing more than a recap of an update of your initial fact finder / FNA. But my FNA meeting, that first meeting, it's how crazy this is. I'm not even collecting a check in that meeting. But that's the most important meeting because that's where I uncover all the needs. All the needs. Now, here's the mistake a lot of people will make with fact-finding meetings. If you get a client that says to you, Tony, I'm interested in life insurance, all you do is fact-find life insurance. That's your mistake. Someone calls you up and says, Tony, I'm interested in health insurance. All you do is fact-find health insurance. Everything you ask them is reference to health insurance. That's your biggest mistake. When I do a fact finder, whether it's health insurance, life insurance, annuity, retirement planning, credit repair, e-commerce, soon by the end of this year, just so you guys know, tax preparation. If I'm doing a fact finder of any of those, I'm doing a fact finder on all of those. The questions that I ask is going to be relative to all of it. Now, you might think, well, is the client going to figure that out? No. As a matter of fact, it's a benefit. Think about when you go to a doctor's office, right? When you go to a doctor's office, you go because you have a problem, right? Hey, I'm going because, like, for example, I just took my kids last week to the dentist, right? And I said, well, they just need their annual cleaning, right? As a parent, I still ask the doctor, is there anything else? Is there anything, you did the cleaning, did you find anything? Is there anything else? And you know what the doctor does always? The doctor says, well, we did x-rays, right? We did the cleaning. Here's what we noticed in the back molars. These teeth are already adult teeth. This is this, and this is this, and this is this. They talk to me about so many things that have nothing to do with the cleaning. Because what they're doing is they're diagnosing. They're doing a full diagnosis. And that's what you're doing in a fact finder. It is. It's a financial diagnosis. It's a, you're digging into everything. If there's a meeting I would want you guys to master, it's that. So whenever you see people running health insurance meetings, take note, learn what kind of questions they're asking about health insurance. When you see people doing life insurance meetings, take note, see what questions they're asking about life insurance. When you see people do meetings about retirement planning, take note, see what questions they ask about that. And your fact finder should have a combination of all of them collectively together. All of them collectively together. Because sometimes the person comes to you for credit and you find life opportunities. Sometimes they come to you for retirement and you find life opportunities. Sometimes they come to you for life and you find retirement opportunity. Great example right now is Nefertari. She came to a meeting and she brought me into the meeting solely for a 10-year term policy that was about to expire, and the client needed to buy another one. We ended up finding a retirement need, so we sold her an IUL, which took care of retirement and insurance. Then we ended up finding an old 401k with $96,000 sitting in it. So what we did, we found a rollover opportunity. She took one meeting that could have maybe made her $300, and she ended up making $3,600 on the case because of a fact-finding meeting. You find opportunities, find opportunities, find opportunities, find opportunities. That's your most important meeting. So if there's something I would tell you to do and practice, it's not illustration design. It's not, how to take an application, how this product works versus the other. No, master the fact-finding meeting. You come to anybody, you come to any trainer, you come to me with a good fact finder, I promise you, I'll help you case design it. I'll help you put together illustration. I'll help you do that whole piece. You'll learn that when you have an actual meeting there. Don't think you have to learn illustrations without having a client to do it to. 2 days ago, I think it was, I did a training with you guys on kid IULs. Why do you think I did that training? Because I actually have some kid IULs that I need to do. So I might as well do a training out of it. So that's number one. Number two, this one's going to be probably from a marketer's perspective important for you to understand. I don't advertise on social media life insurance. To be quite frank, the term life insurance is one of the most avoided conversations ever. People would rather talk about politics, religion, and COVID before they talk about life insurance. It's an unfortunate truth. But let me ask you guys a question. Do you think that there's a lot of people in this world today that want to fix their credit and buy a house? Would you consider that to be a much lighter conversation that people don't mind talking about? Especially if you're talking about it like you have a solution. And again, guys, feel free to unmute yourself. I kind of want the dialogue if possible, right? Edgar says yes, of course. Let me ask you this question. Do you think people would be more, enlightened to talk about free health insurance in today's world?
Absolutely.
Of course. I mean, they would love to. They'd love to. Now let me really focus in on today's world. 2021, year and a half into a pandemic, quarantine, lockdown, all that crap, right? Do you think in today's world, people want to talk more and more about what it is to run an e-commerce business? What it would be like to partner with companies like Amazon and Walmart in the e-commerce space?
Yep.
Guys, all three of those topics right now are so easy to get into. If you're not talking about it on social media, if you're not talking about it with your center of influences, if you're not talking about it with your peers, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You genuinely are. You think that taxes are something that people are going to want to talk about come January, February, March, and April? Of course it is. You know why they want to talk about it then? Most middle Americans, not business owners. Business owners are, oh, shit, taxes, right? You got to pay. Middle Americans do because they want their returns. They want their money. Most middle Americans that take a vacation, I think it was a statistic of 72%, it was something like that, I read in an article, is funded because of their tax returns. It's funded because of their tax returns. Why do you think car dealerships come out with so many sales January, February, and March? For two reasons. One, they want to get rid of their old inventory. So I promise you, you want to get a 2021 car at a great price, you buy it in January, February, March of 2022. They want to get rid of their old inventory. And number two, they know that people have tax returns, which is the down payment that they need on cars. So think about that concept. If you had to figure out what topics people want to talk about more, you had to pick between free health insurance, credit reparation to buy a house, e-commerce investment opportunities, taxes to get their returns, or life insurance, I would hazard a guess that life insurance takes the bottom of the list. It is. Sometimes it's out of fear. People don't want to face their mortality. Sometimes, it's cultural. They don't believe in it. Like, for example, there's many Southern American countries that do not believe in life insurance because their government has dipped into their accounts so many times that now they just don't believe in any big scale companies. Sometimes it's religious. Like, for example, the Arabic community, they look at life insurance as a sin. So that's a hard market to get into. They look at it like a sin. But the majority of people, they just don't want to face their mortality and they feel they cannot afford it because they think it's a very expensive concept. Because they just don't have the education. But you talk to somebody in middle America about buying a house, they want to know. You talk to somebody in middle America about getting their tax refund, they want to know. You talk to somebody about free health insurance, they want to know. So you know what I spend a lot of my time marketing? Those topics. I market health insurance, I market credit repair, I market e-commerce, I market tax preparation guide. I market it like crazy. The moment I find an opportunity to market crypto, I promise you I'm going to. If I can develop a platform within TKO Financial Network that can provide a solution in the crypto space where we can actually provide a service and generate a commission for it, I promise you I'm going to. But it's not to generate the commission on the crypto space. It's to be able to get a fact finder on that person and uncover life insurance and annuity opportunities. Because here's another big reality for you guys. Out of all of those that I talked about, health insurance, tax preparation, credit repair, e-commerce, out of all four of those and life insurance, which one do you think pays more? Which one of these five do you think pays more? Hands down. It's not even a question. It's like 100 times more. Health insurance pays like 12, 15 bucks a month. Nothing crazy, right? Credit repair pays like 50 to 100 bucks. Nothing crazy. E-commerce, probably, that one's decent. I'm not gonna lie. That one's, $1,500 in commissions type stuff, right? Tax preparation, 200 bucks, 250 bucks, I'm assuming, something like that. Like, we haven't even put together that model yet. But life insurance, guys, I got a life insurance case right now. One case right now that's $32,000 pending. One case. One. I'm paying out right now as an FMO every single week anywhere from $5,000 to $12,000 a week in commissions on life insurance. On life insurance. So it's crazy. The one that pays the highest is the one people avoid talking about the most. There's a reason behind that. The reason why life insurance pays so much is because it's not a simple just turnaround sale. But those other four things, the same client that buys life insurance wants to know about these as well. So if you're fact finding in a health insurance meeting, you learn about life. If you're fact finding in a tax preparation meeting, you're still learning about their life insurance needs. If you're fact finding in an e-commerce meeting, you're still learning about their life insurance need. When I do a fact finder, it doesn't matter how the meeting started. I'm gonna uncover needs in all areas. Every single area, I'm gonna uncover a need. Every single area, I'm gonna uncover a need. That's what I focus my attention on from doing from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. at night. Let's talk about recruiting for a minute. Recruiting, this is going to kind of go a little bit anti what I just talked about earlier this morning. Recruiting is my number one income generator. You're like, wait, what, Tony? What the hell are you talking about? Recruiting is my number one income generator. And yet, we charge $0 to come on board TKO Financial Network. So trust me, I'm not generating income from just the concept of recruiting. The reason I tell you to start learning to filter people out of recruiting is this is why. A recruit who wants to learn, notice what I just said, a recruit who wants to learn is a dry sponge dying to get wet with knowledge. Dying to. They're a sponge. They want to absorb as much as they can. A recruit who wants to learn. Now, a recruit who wants to learn typically comes with something else. They call baggage, I call asset. You know what that baggage is? A warm market. It's a warm market. It's their friends, it's their family, it's their neighbors, it's their relatives, it's their parents, it's their old coworkers, they come with that. They look at it like baggage. Oh God, they're not supportive of me. They don't want to help me. Oh God, they don't trust in me. They don't believe in me. They're right. They're 100% right. That same baggage that you guys have, I have that same baggage. I have that same baggage. As I've been in this industry 17 years. My mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, the four people in my bloodline that I care about the most outside of my children, they're not clients of mine. They're not. And they seldom reach out to me for advice. I just found out a couple of days ago that my parents have been talking to someone about, retirement planning and leveraging their house and reverse mortgage type opportunities, this, that, and the other. And I thought to myself, I'm glad my mom talked to me about it because I was able to kind of guide her. But I also thought to myself, what the hell are y'all doing talking to somebody else about that crap before me? Right? Eve is smirking. Am I right, Eve? It's like, what the hell? My parents, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but my parents know that I run an insurance agency, a financial services agency. They know that I've worked in all those industries. They know that out of everybody in our family, cousins, uncles, aunts, everybody, I think I'm probably the most financially successful out of the top 5 combined. They didn't call me? Like, what? It's okay. Why do I love recruiting? Because of the baggage that every recruit comes with. But it's not just a recruit. It's a recruit that wants to learn. It's a recruit that wants to turn on that license. It's a recruit that wants to tap into that market. It's a recruit that wants, like, you know why I enjoy having conversations with Tanisha? Tanisha probably at one point thought to herself, man, Tony must hate having conversations with me because I am so stinking technical. Oh my God, I'm so, Tanisha's that person that I know every time I do a training, she's gonna be that person that says, I got one quick question, but really she got 5. It's okay. I enjoy it. Do you know why I enjoy it? Because Tanisha's a sponge. She just wants to learn and learn and learn and learn. She understands intellectual property. And let me tell you guys something. As a certified field trainer, that is the biggest asset that you have, is the intellectual property, the know-how. The know-how. People want the know-how. They want the know-how. Because once they have the know-how, they never have to give it back. It's the one thing you can acquire in business, in any business, not just this, in any business. It's the one thing you can acquire that will pay you over and over and over and over and over again for the rest of your life. It's the intellectual property. That's why field training to me is so enormous. But recruiting is a huge, because here's the thing. You know who I'm talking to about health insurance? Do you know who I'm talking to about credit repair? Do you know who I'm talking to about e-commerce? Do you know who I'm talking to about life insurance? Do you know who I'm talking to about tax preparation? Do you know who I'm talking to about retirement annuity plan? You know who I'm talking to about all of that? A recruit's warm market. That's who I'm talking to about it. That's who I'm talking to about it. Now you might say, is that anti-leads? I'm not anti-leads. Don't get me wrong. But I am anti anybody thinking they can build a long-term sustainable business solely on leads. If you're trying to do nothing more than buy a batch of leads, sell, be transactional, come back, buy another batch, sell, be transactional, come back. I want you to understand something. And TKO sells leads. A lead works as long as you work. But if all you want to do is stay in the lead gen game, you're always going to be in competition. Because a lead, no matter how exclusive it is to you, unless that lead only filled out one questionnaire that happened to have been out of the millions that are out there, it happened to have been yours, and then they made a decision to never again fill out another questionnaire, unless it's that scenario, I promise you, behind the sale you made is going to be another 5 to 10 more agents trying to sell that client, trying to get that client to see how they are a better agent than you and how they have a better product than you. Whether they do or they don't, you're always going to have that competition. You're always going to have that competition. It'll never end, because the exclusive lead, okay, filled out 10 different questionnaires before you called from 10 different marketing companies. And every company treats it like an exclusive lead, but it's really not. That marketing company might not sell it to anybody, but other marketing companies acquire that information. And let me tell you something else. That marketing company will make it exclusive for only a certain period of time, 30, 60, 90 days before they resell it as an aged lead. Why now? Now, wait a minute, Tony, what the hell are you talking about? Tony, you sell aged leads. Guys, I make sales on aged leads. I do. Because here's the one thing that I know about the industry. There's a lot of lazy agents. So that exclusive lead that someone spent $20 on, chances are that exclusive lead was given to a lazy agent who only made a call once or twice and never got a hold of the client. And then it became an age lead in my hands. And in my hands, I leveraged Jarvis, and Jarvis calls, text messages, voicemails, and everything for 10, 15 times. And that client eventually says, I'm going to answer the stinking phone number. Click. Oh, yeah, I am interested in the market. So that's an aged lead that still works. The only reason aged leads work is because of lazy agents. Like internalize that. Take that message. The only reason aged leads work, the only reason they work is because of lazy agents. because there was a lazy agent that bought an exclusive lead and spent 15, 20 bucks on, and then did not call that lead, work that lead, drop by that lead as effectively as they needed to. And then it just became an old lead that nobody sold. Now it's in the hands of a hardworking agent who bought it for $2, and he's going to work that bad boy until to the core and leverage an automation system like Jarvis to do it. So that's another method to generate clients. But the solid method, guys, I mean, I'm talking about the gold recruiting. But recruiting quality people that want to learn. I don't care if they don't have a license. Listen, Michelle just got her license. I'm excited to work with someone like Michelle. She just got her license. You know how energetic someone who just got their license is? This is their first go around at using that license and generating an income on that license. It is. And for you guys right now, if you're thinking to myself, well, wait a minute, was I recruited just so someone could profit off of me? No, it's not that. Let's make this very clear. Your warm market will not do business with you. And if they do business with you, it's going to be very minimal if you go at it by yourself. I can tell you this from experience. However, your warm market, they'll meet with you as long as you bring with you someone who's got an expertise. And you know what you're going to do with your warm market as a new agent? You're going to learn. You're going to learn. If you come to the field with me, Tony, I want to learn what your approach language is. I want to learn what your questions are in the meeting. I want to learn how you do a dime analysis. I want to learn how you explained all 4 types of life insurances. I want to learn how you did a budget. And then when you schedule that closing meeting, Tony, I want to sit with you before that closing meeting, and I want to learn how you case design it. I then want to sit in on that closing meeting as well, too. I want to see how you present it. And then when you present it and you take the application, I want to sit with your team and see how you submitted the application. And then when you submit the application, I want to sit on an underwriting class on a Saturday and learn how to underwrite it. And Tony, I don't want to just do that one time. I want to do that 7 to 10 times. Because after I've done that 7 to 10 times, Tony, I've acquired from you enough intellectual property. I have absorbed enough intellectual property from you that I now know how to do it by myself. And the only reason why I was able to do that with you, Tony, is because I brought with me that baggage. I brought with me that natural market. I brought with me that list of mom and dad and brother and sister and aunt and uncle and all of them. And you know what? Because Tony, you talked to me about credit repair, and you talked to me about health insurance for free, and you talked to me about, e-commerce, and you talked to me about all of these other things. You know what I did with my warm market? I talked to them about it too. And it was crazy is I found 5 people that wanted health insurance, and I found 3 people that wanted credit repair, and I found 2 people that wanted, to learn more about e-commerce. And every single one of them, however, we talked about life insurance as well. And some of them we did sell life insurance, and some of them we didn't, but we at least planted the seed for a future sale. How crazy is that? My warm market that didn't want to do business with me is the only reason why I learned the industry. And once you have acquired that data, you know what you can now do? You could become the certified trainer. Now you could recruit people that want something from you. They want your intellectual property. Watch this. Nobody here knows who trained me. Would you agree? Does anybody here know the name of the individual who trained me? I was trained by many, but there's one person that I give 100% like tribute and credit to learning the life insurance side of this business. Anybody know his name? He's not from PHP. He's not from WFG. Exactly. His name is Von Hoban. If you ever got a chance to meet Von Hoban, you would say, "How in the what?" Like you would never put a guy like Von Hoban and me each other. Never in your life would you. Never. Totally different. I'm talking about. He's from Indiana. He's a country boy. He's like we're totally opposite. We get along great. He's beautiful wife, lovely family. We've gone out to dinners and stuff like that. I haven't seen him in years, by the way. You know why? Because he was in Florida when he was training me, and then he moved back up to Indiana. So I probably haven't seen him in like 8 years, we'll say, something like that. But why do I tell you this? None of you guys know Von Hoban, yet every single one of you guys are being trained a technique of selling insurance that Von Hoben is the one who does. He's the one who does it, but he trained me. I absorbed that intellectual property, and I get to now give that intellectual property back to you guys for years to come. So indirectly, you guys have to somewhat, in a way, pay tribute to Von Hoben, a guy that you never know. You'll never know him, maybe. Maybe one day I can get him over here to do a training. I don't know, who knows? But you'll never know him, but yet you absorbed some of the intellectual property that he was able to give through me. So if I teach you this industry, leveraging your warm market, and we split the business, this isn't a you're not making any money type scenario. No, we work your warm market and we split it 50-50. So you're making money while learning, and you get to acquire that intellectual property because of your warm market. You now have the skills and the tool sets to recruit, train, and develop. Now your recruits want something from you. They want that intellectual property. And they're going to learn it from you, even though you acquired it from me. That's how amazing intellectual property is. That's how absolutely, utterly amazing intellectual property is. So you market. I gave you kind of a two-sided training today. Yes, I market things outside of life insurance in order to open up life insurance opportunities. But I market primarily through recruiting. Through recruiting. I repeat it to you. Through recruiting. Watch this. Watch this. Look. And I'll close it off after this. Watch this. I'm looking through the list. Carolina Del Carmen, how are you? Nice to meet you. I don't know who you are, but I'm eager to get to know you. Irvin Bergs, I do know. Irvin's going to go, you've done this before, but I'm going to do it again so you guys understand. Irvin came to me from a gentleman named Victor. Victor came to me from a gentleman named Don Tureen. Okay. Through recruiting Don, we brought Victor. When I trained in Victor's market, we wrote up his aunt, his uncle, and himself. Through Victor, we recruited Irvin. With Irvin, we've put policies in place on Irvin and his wife. We've put policies in place on Irvin's cousins. And Irvin right now is looking to possibly do some other things in the e-commerce space. How did that all start? Recruiting. It all started through recruiting. It all started through recruiting. We brought on board Puebli, who brought on board Caesar, who brought on board Jimmy, who brought on board Edgar. Edgar's in training here right now. Through Puebli, we've written 10, 15 app policies. Through Puebli, we also brought on board Tanisha. How did all that start? How did that web start? Recruiting. It all started through recruiting. Caesar was through Puebli. With Caesar, we brought on board 7 clients, one of which was a $300,000 rollover. Another one was a $70,000 rollover. Another one pending $75,000. And all of those 3, they're not recruits. So I don't want you to think, well, wait a minute, is your client base only your recruits? No, not at all. Not at all. But an agent should get a policy. I'm not going to tell you that you shouldn't. An agent should 100% get a policy. That's called internal consumption. And your upline should write it. You don't want to write your own business. That's called controlled business. You can't be your own agent when you die. And you're not going to get advanced commissions on your own policy. Your upline should write it. That's just the truth. But that's not what this is about. It's about the warm markets. It's about the warm markets that come along with the recruit. Through Caesar, we wrote up all of that. Through Jimmy brought on board Areli. Jimmy brought on board Edgar. Edgar and I have been talking about a potential client that he has. I think it's a dad and a brother scenario. I'm just waiting on Edgar to get a stinking license. Now, here's how I will close this off. This is a message to the person that wants to become a field trainer. Because there is such a thing as a good field trainer and a bad field trainer. Don't be the bad one. I won't let you be a bad one. I won't let you turn TKO into those other companies that have this exact same reputation. If you're going to be a field trainer, you cannot withhold information from your trainee. You cannot just show them what it is to work on the field. And that's it. You got to show them how to make the illustrations. You got to show them how to submit the application. You got to show them how to underwrite that business and talk to the underwriters. You got to show them how to deliver that policy. If the only thing you're there for, hey, I'm going to be here to show you, we're going to run the client meeting and I'm going to show you the language that I'm going to have with that client. And I'm going to show you how to close that business. But then you don't give them anything else. If you only give them a piece of the puzzle, you're making them dependent upon you. You're making them go, okay, well, I know some intellectual property, but I don't know the whole full sales cycle. I still need you, Mr. Trainer. And because I still need you, I still got to split commissions 50-50. Nobody should split commissions 50-50 forever. But everybody should be willing to do 7 to 10 field training meetings where they're willing to split 50-50. Because it'll take you 7 to 10 solid meetings from beginning to end. Not, oh, we started it but never closed it. I'm talking about 7 to 10 solid full sales cycle transactions for you to be able to say to yourself, okay, I think I have enough data now that I could be a certified field trainer. I can support myself without my trainer. I can support myself without my trainer. I know this business now. And I also know where to gain more tools and resources to continue the learning process without the trainer. Because look, I give 100% credit to Von Hoban. I do. But Von Hoban never showed me how to premium finance. Von Hoban never showed me how to do infinite banking. Von Hoban never showed me any of that. He never showed me any of that stuff. But he gave me enough tools and enough skill sets to make a 6-figure income by myself. And then he taught me that I could go out and find and learn information on my own. That's what he taught me. That's what he taught me. And that's what a field trainer needs to be teaching you. So I hope you understand, from 8 in the morning to 8 p.m., I'm putting out marketing campaigns on social media and I'm recruiting. I'm doing both. I'm doing both like no other. I'm doing both like no other. If I looked right now in the entire hierarchy, being that I'm the owner of the company, I guarantee you my workload is probably 10 times more than anybody else's workload in the insurance industry, at least. I'm not here to judge what you do outside of insurance, but in the insurance industry right now, I have more workload than anybody else here does, but yet I'm still the #1 direct recruiter. I think I'm like 70 something wide right now, some crazy number like that. Recruiting will bring you the warm markets that you need. And if you're the one that's like, man, T, but I don't want to recruit. Okay, great. That's fine. Work the leads, but do not work a lead without trying to build enough rapport in that lead to get referrals and stay in that lead market. Your job when you work leads is, yes, to sell, but your main job is to build enough rapport that they refer you to their friends and family. That's called nesting. When you can sit in someone's family tree, you know how I begin nesting? Contingent beneficiaries. I write them up and I get so many agents make a mistake and they just write up a quick life insurance policy and they do not ask for contingent beneficiaries because it's extra work. You know what that contingent beneficiary does? It gives you 2 to 3 more meetings, because you as a licensed insurance field underwriter, you have the fiduciary responsibility to talk to talk to those contingent beneficiaries and explain to them what type of life insurance was just purchased by their family member and what the protocols are if something was to happen. You know how many beneficiaries have no idea that there's even life insurance in place? And then the person passes away and the family struggle financially, not knowing that there was a solution in place, but nobody told them. You know how many beneficiaries see their loved ones struggling with illnesses, not realizing that their life insurance has living benefits, but because they weren't educated on it, they don't know how to file that claim. And the person who does know about it is in a coma and can't speak for himself. So your job is to meet with fiduciaries, with contingent beneficiaries and beneficiaries. Sit down with them for a 20-minute Zoom and explain to them exactly what type of policy was purchased and what it does and what it doesn't do, what the 800 numbers are. And by doing that, you know what you get into with that person? An indirect fact finder. Another indirect fact finder, another opportunity to build rapport and see if there's any needs that that person might need. And now all of a sudden you got another client. And when you get that client, what are you going to do in the application? More contingent beneficiaries. And you keep working in that market. 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 So if you're working leads, great, work them, but just make sure you have a focus on getting out of the leads. Work them and then get out. Because when you can have, guys, when I worked at Northwestern Mutual with 0 leads, 0 recruiting, my goal every week was 25 referrals. $100 a month. And I was able to do it. And I wasn't one of the best. I wasn't one of the worst, guys. So if you're thinking just, oh my God, there's no way I can get those. Have you ever actually tried to get 25 referrals in a week? Have you actually tried? Try. You want a great lead? Get a referral. Because that referral never filled out a questionnaire with any marketing company. That referral, you are the only person that has that person's name. You know, a month down the line, 2 months down the line, 6 months down the line, a year down the line, there's not going to be a freaking stream of insurance agents trying to sell that person. It's a warm lead. And when you call that warm lead, you can introduce the person that gave you their name. That's so huge. It's so clutch. I mean, look, watch this. Eve, if you don't mind, what's your mom's name? She's trying to unmute herself. I caught her off.
Thelma.
Thelma? Okay. So if you don't know who I am and I call you, I say, hi, is this Eve? And you say, yes, it is. And I say, thanks for taking my call, Eve. Listen, I'm calling in reference to Thelma. Did she tell you I was going to call you, or is this out of the blue? Aren't you?
Out of the blue.
You know what's going to happen? She's curious. Wait, who? Thelma? My mom gave you my, wait, I want to know why you calling me. What's up? I'm listening. Now I can pitch. But if I got Eve's name from a lead, Eve, how are you? Nice to meet you. Listen, I'm calling because you inquired over the need for life insurance protection. I'm a field underwriter. There's no warm name that I'm using to gain her interest. That's why referrals are so clutch. You get to use the name of the person that gave you. And if you ask it in a question, you stop them from being automatically with their guards up. Anybody that sees a number on their phone that they don't know automatically answers with the guard up. I promise you, your job is to drop that guard quick. Anybody that answers a phone number they don't know is automatically like, hello? Like, their guards are up. You got to drop that guard. You know how you drop it? Introducing who gave you their name, which is called a nominator. Hey, Tanisha, how are you? Nice to meet you. I'm giving you a call in reference to Isaiah. Did he tell you that I was going to call you, or is this out of the blue? Wait, Isaiah, my husband? What? Hold up. What? Who are you? I'm listening. I'm not trying to find a way to get off the call. I'm listening. It's a very different way, a very different method. Referrals are clutch. So if you're working leads, they work. I'm not saying they don't. Matter of fact, we have some great leads that we just dropped into the batch. I think everybody should buy some leads. I'm not telling you not to, especially if you're leveraging Jarvis to do a lot of the legwork for you. But when you're in that market, make sure that you're learning how to get referrals and stay in that market. 65-year-olds have 40-year-old kids. 40-year-old kids are having conversations about retirement planning and have 401ks put away somewhere and have kids of their own, and they need life insurance of their own as well. If you're not getting referred into those markets, guys, you're shooting yourself in the foot. And when you're marketing on the social space, when you're marketing at networking events, don't spit out life insurance right away. Talk about, listen, I help families qualify for free health insurance. I help families repair their credit so they can purchase those lovely homes that they want. I help families get into alternative investments like e-commerce and partnerships with Amazon and Walmart stores, because right now e-commerce is a huge revenue-driven environment. I help families roll over their 401ks from old employers into into their own plans so that they're not paying the fees that the old employer is charging them. All of those things start conversations and let you fact find. It lets you get into that very important meeting I keep talking about, the fact finder. And the fact finder then lets you build rapport and find out what insurance needs, retirement needs, and everything else in between. Everything else in between. I'll close it off with this from a recruiting side. You should be focusing on recruiting two types of people: agents that actually want to learn, and center of influences, COIs. I try to recruit both. You know what a COI is? A COI is a mortgage broker, a real estate agent, a property and casualty agent, right? A COI is someone that has access to a big network of people, and all you're hoping that that person does is refer you to more people. Because if a COI is willing to get their license, the COI can just send you the referrals and you split the commissions with them. Tax preparers are huge COIs. Accountants, huge COIs. They have a book of business of people that they do taxes for in the thousands. If they open that book up to you, And if all you do is teach that COI to ask 1 or 2 questions to poke curiosity, like, you know what I did with a tax service over here that I'm partnered with? I told him, I go, hey, listen, tell all your people that I'm offering to qualified candidates free health insurance. You know what happened? He started saying that to people, and every single week, he'd go, call this guy, hey, call this guy, hey, call this guy, hey, call this guy, hey, call this guy. I think I've ran close to 30,000 off of just referrals from this guy. He doesn't know how to submit one application, but he's licensed. All he does is send me the referrals. I call him, work him, put him on 50% splits. It's simple. So understand, COIs give you referrals. Agents that actually want to learn the business build you a team. You need both. You need both. Matter of fact, look, I'm going to throw something out right now. I just recruited a guy. I actually have to follow up with him today. He wants to drop $3,000 worth of money into leads. Give those leads to some of you guys in exchange for splitting the business with him 50-50 if you close the deal. So he's going to financially fund the leads. You just got to make a decision to work them intensely. And when you make a sale, you split it with them 50-50. I just had that meeting. Question is, who's the agents that want to work it? That's a COI that I just found. So when you're recruiting, that's who you're recruiting. And that's what I'm doing from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every single stinking day to generate business, I'm marketing the services that people want so I can get into fact finders and talk about all the things that they need. People always want to talk about what they want. They want to avoid the things that they need until you're face to face with them. I want my credit repaired, but I need life insurance to protect my family. I want free health insurance, but I need to discuss my estate planning for my family. They always want to talk about what they want, so I advertise what they want. But once I get in the meeting, I make sure that I also talk about what they need. And then that's about 40% of my time. The other 60% of my time, recruiting the right people, friend requesting insurance agents from other FMOs, joining chat rooms of insurance agents, networking like crazy. Guys, American Income Life, World Financial Group, HBW, Primerica. There are hundreds of thousands of agents in those types of environments that they're not making anything. They're broke, busted, and disgusted. They don't know how to write a piece of business. And yet they're advertised on social media. They're unhappy. All you got to do is friend request them and become someone on your social media feed that people see and hear frequently. And when you're talking about the positivity of the industry and the things that you're learning, like take some of the things that you learn from my trainings and regurgitate it back on your social media. Take 1 or 2 quotes that I gave you, regurgitate it back. And as long as your audience, the people that you friend requested, are people that are in the industry, and there's a high probability that they're coming from an organization where they're not learning anything, they will like your stuff, comment on your stuff, which now gives you permission to message them. It gives you permission to have a conversation with them. Or they'll message you directly. Hey, listen, we don't know each other, man, but I'm watching your social media, man. You talk so great about this insurance industry, man. I don't know if you know this, but I have an insurance license. I have no idea what the heck I've been doing with it. Sometimes you recruit people who do know how to do stuff with it, but because you're on the, like, look, Jimmy Garcia's on here. Jimmy Garcia, I'm looking for, where's the other one? The guy I just brought on board, Jimmy Torres. Jimmy Torres came from World Financial Group. I had no idea who he was. He ended up on a friend list of mine. And he's been following me. I mean, he's been following me for like 2 years now. He finally made the plunge and said, man, I'm leaving WFG. I can look back at the messages he and I were talking about. And at one point, he was like 100% diehard WFG. Nothing can change his mind. I mean, he literally gave me this long paragraph about loyalty to the company. And then he finally hits me up about a month ago, goes, hey, man, I left, man. I couldn't keep doing it. Wasn't learning anything, wasn't growing, wasn't developing. What do you got going on? So even people tell you no, it's not really no, it's just not now. And as long as they're on your social media, they're always going to see you. That's one thing that I also do, just so you guys know, when I'm out prospecting in the community. Back in the day, it was, let me get your business card. You know what it is nowadays? Let me get you on my social media. Because if they're on your social media, they're going to see you every day. That's why Gerzo's here. Gerzo just ended up on my social media. And he saw me every day, every day, every day, every day, every day. And he kept sending me messages and sending me. And at the time, I couldn't do anything about it. Couldn't do anything about it. Because it just so happened that coincidentally, we both represented the same company. When I opened up my own FMO, and he hits me up and tells me he's not happy where he's at. He's leaving. He hasn't done anything. You know, he's almost sending me like a goodbye message. Finally say, look, bro, I'm not with them any longer. Sorry, can't help you. And he says to me, wait, you're not with them? Wait, I'm leaving. I left, man. I want to know what you're up to. Boom. He recruited himself. I didn't even come after him, but he was on my social media. He kept on seeing my posts. So he kept on sending me messages, kept on sending me messages. That's how you do it. And if you're not a social media person, then listen, go to networking events, go to After 5 events, go do what you got to do. And I don't mean to turn this from a training on how to sell to a training on how to recruit, but I also can't lie to you and tell you that the first domino in the majority of my business sales, that first domino that begins all the other dominoes, is I recruit myself into the markets that I want to work. You want to work with doctors? Recruit a nurse. Recruit another doctor. You want to work with attorneys? Recruit an attorney or recruit a paralegal. Recruit someone that has access to that market. And when they get access to that market, be willing to train them in that market. Because what they're saying is this market, this baggage I have won't do business with me. But if you could train me in this market, we could split the commissions. I'm not going to work in anybody's market who doesn't have a license. I mean, that's just against my own moral code. Get the license, and then boom, your warm market, right? Yeah, that baggage. Oh, these people won't do business with me. Oh, these people hate me, whatever. This baggage will split the commissions, but more importantly, you're going to give me the intellectual property that I need in order to run this business without you one day, Mr. Tony Martinez, or Mr. Edgar when he becomes a certified trainer, or Miss Tanisha Coffee when she becomes a certified trainer. You're going to give me the intellectual property that I need so that if you decide one day to move and leave the country or leave the industry, I can still operate because I've captured from you what I needed to run a business. And now I'm doing the same thing. I'm recruiting people and giving them what you gave me. But while I'm giving it to them, I'm making a living. That's my piece, guys. That's my training for you guys. And hopefully it'll trigger some of you guys to go, okay, I get it. I need to sit in on Wednesday's credit repair class a little bit more and learn about that process, because I see how talking about credit gets me into a meeting, bam, helps me sell life insurance. And we sell credit too. Don't get me wrong. I'm very happy to receive the $100 in commissions, but I'm even happier to write a $1,200 annual point IUL or $1,200 annual point term. I'm going to sit that a little bit more. I'm going to learn a little bit more about this health insurance, right? We're about to get health insurance on the way. It's going to be ran by Rob Raw, just so you guys know. He's on the training right now. We're going to work on a day where once a week he does training on health insurance, how to get people qualified for the government subsidy program, where it could be free. It's not free all the time, but it could be free. But the word free entices the conversation. It entices the conversation. I'm going to learn about that a little bit more. I want to learn a little bit more about this whole, e-commerce thing, what the heck this is about. I'm going to learn about all those things because those are the things people want to talk about. And then from there, I'm going to fact find. Matter of fact, I'm going to learn about it. I'm going to schedule meetings and I'm going to bring a field trainer with me and show me the ropes, because I gotta see this 7 to 10 times to master this bad boy. Von Hoban and I have not spoken for 8 years, not because we're upset with each other, but just because life went on. He has a family, he has a wife, 3 kids, he had triplets. Crazy triplets. But can you imagine triplets? My God. Oh my God. I love my kids, but triplets, my goodness. Anyways, God bless him though. God bless him. God doesn't give anybody more than they can handle. And he didn't give me triplets because he knew I couldn't handle that, but he did give him. But listen, I say this because I haven't talked to him for 8 years. He moved up to Indiana. I see him on social media. We chat every now and again. But he gave me so much in that 3 years of me working side by side next to him, that it's because of him that I have a career in this industry. It's because of him that I had the courage to open up an FMO. It's because of him that I support my family on this business. It's because of him that Sandra doesn't have to work a 9 to 5. It's because of him. It's because of him and the intellectual property he gave me that forever and ever and ever gives me a return greater than I could have ever asked for. It's because of him that I've traveled the world to many different places. It's because of him. It's because of him that I was able to help my brother out, my parents out. It's because of what he was able to do in giving me this data that's in my head that I could have not captured if it wasn't for him being willing to show me next to him how to do it. And now I'm telling you, it's my way of giving it back to the industry, giving it back to you guys. But you gotta be willing. You gotta be willing to create those markets. You gotta be willing to. You gotta be willing to show up. Some of you just don't show up. Some of you are here 1 minute and gone the next. You're not going to succeed in this business if you do that. You can't be in and then be out. You've got to give this business a solid 2 years of you. 2 consistent years of you. I'm talking about 6 days a week type mentality. You got to give it that. And then what ends up happening after 2 years, I promise you, this business starts to give you back a life. It gives you back a life. It gives you back flexibility. It gives you back control. It gives you confidence. And then after 5 years, this business gives you time. After 5 years, this business starts paying you much more than the work you're putting in because of all the work you put in the first 5 years. But you're never going to get to that, oh my God, I'm killing it. I'm doing it. Until you make a decision to give this business a consistent amount of your energy and your time. This isn't about being in 1 week, out the next. No. Be in for 2 years. Stop that habit of quitting things and stay in and see what this does. See what this does. Have a good one, guys. Be blessed. I'll stay on for another minute if any of you guys have any questions, but I wanted to have that conversation with you guys on how it is that I acquire clientele. And I'm hoping everybody here starts talking about credit repair and health insurance and e-commerce. But everybody here also makes a decision to stay clocked in. Stay clocked in. Do it for yourself. Do it for the future version of yourself. Do it for your children, your family. Whatever it is that motivates you, do it for that. I promise you, you won't regret it.